You know, sometimes they tell you, no, don't talk about it. Someone will take your idea. No one can, if someone else will take the idea and do it even before you, then it's not the right thing for you to do. I mean, I didn't have the set of skills that an entrepreneur should have.
How did you overcome all this?
I think a lot of people helped me. When COVID started, I received calls from employees telling me, Carole, please, if you want to cut our salaries, we don't have a problem. We totally understand. I literally cried on the phone. The only hiccups I had from other women. And this is what I need women to hear.
Culture and social behavior has big consequences for businesses, but we often overlook it because it's too complex and multidimensional to analyze. Culture is the context to every human presence. We all live in more than one culture simultaneously. Geographies, organizations, companies, families, and friendships all have unique cultures. And in business, especially entrepreneurship, has its own unique unspoken rules and mindset to be able to choose that path and to be successful at it. More and more, there's a trend for quitting our corporate jobs and starting our own businesses. But unless we understand the culture and the dynamics of what it takes, we might fail even before we start. Welcome to the Culture and Podcast, where we connect business to human behavior. I am Nurcin Löffler, brand and culture expert and your host, and today we're talking about culture and entrepreneurship.
Everyone wants to be like an entrepreneur on a beach in Thailand, living their best digital nomad life. Reality is it's the total opposite. You lose friends, family doesn't understand what you do, and in fact for the most part they'll try and talk you out of it until you get to a certain level of what they perceive to be success, and they'll be like, oh, I always knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a fantastic team, you can, I think, as long as you can run one business well, you can run any business well.
That right there is the definition of entrepreneurship. It's when you love your game more than what the game gives you. That's why I like losing. The game told me I lost. Respect to the game. That's why I like playing. I was an entrepreneur when there was no conversation around this.
Today, I'm joined by someone who is not only a great role model with her entrepreneurship journey, but also someone who inspired me as a female leader and a business owner with her vision and her strength. She is the founder and CEO of Moshi, the Japanese Confectionary Company founded in 2016 in the UAE. Please welcome Carole Moawad.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so humbled by this introduction.
Thank you so much for coming, Carole. So Carole and I, we met and we connected immediately. And
Correct.
I told her, we almost made a podcast episode over coffee. And we said, we have to do it. We have to share this.
We have to officialize it.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming, Carole. But when I listened to your story, I was really inspired by it.
Thank
you. Can you tell us that journey, your own personal story?
Sure. So I'm Lebanese. I grew up in Lebanon. I studied in Lebanon. And then my studies were around, I started with chemistry, but then my master's studies were around industrial technology and management in healthcare. So I specialized in quality in healthcare institutions. And this is how I came to Dubai to work with PwC as a consultant. Mm-hmm. And after 2 years working with PwC, even though it was an amazing company, the dynamic was really something that inspired me. However, I was always looking beyond the corporate world. I always wanted to do something for myself, by myself, to create something. Mm-hmm. And I never thought about a healthcare product or service or an idea.
Even though you did the master's on that?
Even though I did it. But I didn't, even at a younger age, I didn't really know what I want to do. I knew that I want to do something that creative, like something to create something. I never imagined myself as an employee or a banker or a lawyer or, I always imagined that I'm doing something different. I don't know why, but this is how I imagined my future. So
you intuitively knew that
yes,
there was something that's going to come out of you as a creation?
Correct. Every week I would come up with a business idea or an app or a website or a product or a service. And It's only when I got the idea of mochi, and I'll tell you how it was created, that I felt immediately that this is the right thing for me to do. So after 2 weeks working with PwC, I was in Lebanon for vacation, actually, and I was at a Japanese restaurant. And because I'm a foodie, I'm a regular at that restaurant. And the waiter tells me, Carole, I want you to try this new dessert, which is mochi cream. It was cream. It wasn't even ice cream. So I like the idea that you bite into something that it's dough, but inside you have like a nice surprise of a Japanese flavor. And I always thought about Japanese cuisine, how they don't have a special desserts, other like there's a tiramisu or a tart or, but there's no creme brulee or something that it's very unique for them. And this is where this is the first time when I encountered the mochi. And I immediately imagined like, that's weird. Why I don't see this more often? Why I don't see it in the Middle East? And it would have been really cool if there was mochi ice cream, like la durée, but instead of macaron, mochi, basically. And this is how I decided to do it myself. So I did some research the same night on how they do it, why it doesn't exist in the Middle East. And I was so happy that there was no factory, there is no brand. Until today, actually, there is no factory. There's no other manufacturer of mochi. And I decided to start immediately. So I talked to a friend about it who is an expert in F&B. He's like, that's amazing. You should start immediately. I'm on board if you want.
Okay, so you did a bit of a validation.
Exactly, with friends and family. They both joined. And this is how I started immediately.
Wow. Okay, how did you know that this idea is different than all other ideas that you came up with pretty much every week with something new? How did you know that this is different, this is the one?
When I imagined it, it looked so real. You know what I mean?
Oh, very interesting.
Like I can imagine the shop, the mochi, the shape of the mochi, the brand, and I immediately recognized how scalable it can be. I immediately recognized how many shops you can open, how fast you can expand. You can go to supermarkets, you can go to restaurants. So I immediately realized the potential. And I wanted to do it so fast because I didn't want to be the second mochi factory or the second mochi brand in the region. I wanted to do it immediately to benefit from this first entry to the market, and which played a huge role in my journey, to be honest. So I didn't really take a lot of time to study the financial feasibility of it and how is the best way to do it and where, and everything came naturally, like I started looking for a chef and then I started looking for a location. And then, so I didn't really spend time thinking if it's the right thing or not. I just knew that it's the right thing and I immediately jumped on it. And every time I was doing or trying to tap a challenge or a task I have to do, I discovered that it was really the right decision to do it. And, you go forward to the next task, to the next challenge. And this is
very interesting, Carole. Actually, what I'm hearing here is the first moment you realize that you can visualize it.
Yeah.
So that's being able to visualize it, being able to see it, also convince you from the first moment that this is the right idea.
Correct.
And I hear a second thing that I think is very important, that most of the time by overthinking too early
Correct.
and focusing on the challenges of why it wouldn't work, we kill a lot of ideas.
Correct.
And you didn't do that, and you actually took one challenge at a time.
Correct.
And not like kind of exhausted yourself by thinking like all the things that can go wrong.
100%.
Okay. That's
I think that at some point you need to people call it being courageous or being confident, or I think it's literally listening to your gut feeling. I think this is what it is. Like even when I was exploring the idea I talked about it with everyone around me. Like I took the opinion of everyone around me, friends, family, colleagues, everyone. And You know, when I started talking to them, they're like, maybe it's interesting to have a Japanese cafe where you serve mochi. For example, back then there was Yamanote. It was the only Japanese cafe in UAE, actually. And I started exploring, maybe it's a good idea, but then I felt, no, I'm complicating it. Let me go back to basics. Let me go back to the initial idea. And we're talking about 1 week time, right? Like it's not, no, I tried for 3 months and then I went back to mochi. What I'm trying to say here is that when the way I did it is that I felt that this is right. I decided to just start doing it immediately. And wherever I discover that it's difficult to be done or a problem that I will have to face, I'll just get on it, fix it, and move on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't want to put a desk, sit on a desk and then by the desk and then think, okay, what might happen and how to solve each and every problem. Mm-hmm. And to be very honest, I didn't know what might happen. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't have experience in F&B. Mm-hmm. I didn't have an experience as an entrepreneur. I didn't have an experience in UAE. It's been only 2 years I was in UAE, etc. So I didn't think of all the challenges that might happen. And I think that worked to my benefit because...
Exactly. This is why I find it even more inspiring because everything that we would typically in business think that, okay, you should do a business plan for 3 years to 5 years to...
I tried, but yeah, I did it.
No, but I think the most important part is that you just knew
exactly
it is your thing.
Yeah.
And then you decided that you're going to sort things out on the way.
Correct.
And that made a big difference.
Yes, correct.
Otherwise, you would probably might have killed the idea before even... Correct. It was a thing.
And a lot of people told me that I should, right? A lot of people would tell you, it wouldn't work. Look at this shop, it's empty in this mall. Look at this brand, it didn't work. Look at this brand, it closed after 1 year. But I knew that I will make it work. Like I knew that I have to make it work. I knew that the idea itself is right. It can be successful. It's up to me to make it work or not, you know? This is how I looked at it.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So taking that responsibility and saying that that's up to me. The idea is great. I don't question the idea.
Correct.
And I know I have the capabilities of doing it. It's just a matter of going after it and not giving up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't have the skills and the set of skills that an entrepreneur should have, or the financial knowledge or the technical knowledge, but I knew that I can figure it out.
You had the right mindset, I guess.
Yes,
you had the right mindset, and
I was so focused on it. Yeah.
So that's great. We talk about all the rainbows and blue sky, but I'm sure you came across some challenges through that journey as well. Tell us a little bit about them. What were your key challenges through that journey, and how did you overcome them?
I would say the first challenge that I had is honestly to figure out everything, to understand the business that I'm trying to do, because I don't know how to make mochi. There's no one who makes mochi in Dubai. There's no factories. So even if you know how to do it manually with the chef, you have to commercialize it and to put it in a professional setup in a factory with machines, etc., to scale up the production, for example. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know how to find a factory, how to recruit, didn't have a PRO. Like the challenge was really to understand all of these at the same time with no time, you know, like I didn't want to take 10 years to figure it out. I had a very strict timeline where I wanted to open in 2017. So I established the business. I started looking for a chef, etc. So to figure out all the technical stuff and all the legal stuff in UAE that you can't figure out by yourself, you need help in all of these. But also, where do you get the help from? I don't have the connections. So I actually built my own, if you want, my own network one by one. I didn't have a network in UAE before that. So to create your own network in a new country, in a new business, because I work for PwC, for healthcare or Munich Re. I did a small project after PwC with a reinsurance company, which is Munich Re as well. So my network is completely different, and it's so far away from what I'm doing. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge, I would say, was the fact that you live in UAE, you need a residency, you need to be financially independent, you need to have a salary, you need to figure all of this out while you're doing your own thing as well, right? So I cannot just stop working and then take my sweet time and figure out things little by little. I needed a salary, I needed a residency, I needed, this financial security that allows me to do this other job. So practically was a little bit challenging as well to work after my corporate hours and to try to fit everything within.
Okay, you started when you were still at, you had a salary in residency.
Exactly.
So you start creating that. Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, that was also a second challenge. The third challenge is to attract the right people in the beginning. Who are you? Why would I be recruited by you as a driver or as a chef or as a sales employee? Or, I'm no one. I'm coming from no strong background of a brand or of a holding company. So you go to a mall, I want to rent a space. Why would I give you the space to be rented? I want to recruit marketing man. Why would a marketing manager, for example, or a chef who works for Zuma or a very good Japanese restaurant work for you, right? So that was a big
credibility.
challenge. Yeah.
How did you overcome all this?
I think a lot of people helped me. A lot of people around me helped me with a contact, with putting me in contact with their colleagues or friends or acquaintances. So I literally leveraged my network from the family to the friends to the extended friends to the extended family, and then you create that network little by little. So for example, just to give you a very quick story, and I always give credit to this guy who helped me a lot in the beginning, the owner of Home Bakery. So when I decided to, when I was exploring, okay, I have this idea of mochi, where do I sell it? No one is giving me space in malls. So where can I put the mochis? Okay, now I have the mochi, I have to sell them somewhere. We started online, of course, but I wanted it to be in a mall. I wanted to create that need of a compulsory need of a product in a mall.
And it's such a visual thing. You need to show it, right?
And it's a new product. You are creating a new need. You are introducing a new dessert, a new culture altogether. So people had to see it. So I loved Home Bakery as a brand, as a coffee shop. And I approached them on Instagram. I told them that, can I please meet the owner? And the founder who created all the desserts or the recipes of Home Bakery accepted to meet with me. She's a sweet Emirati lady. She's very creative. And she told me she tasted the mochis. She loved them. And she asked me to meet with her brother, who is her partner. And we couldn't see the two brands coming together. And Japanese, Emirati, but he told me, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And I told him that I have a problem, that I'm not finding a space. I'm not securing a space in a mall, and I would love to be in City Walk. He's like, no problem. I'll give you the contact. I'll talk to them and they will help you. And this is how I got my first location in City Walk. And it was a huge success from day one.
Yeah, but this is so inspiring, Carole. I think
you.
Why I find it very inspiring. Most of us, many people that I know, don't even try to ask for help.
Oh, no, I always ask for help.
The reason that, because when you said, how did you overcome all these challenges? You said, many people helped me.
Yeah.
But you actually asked for help.
Always.
And especially for female entrepreneurs, I have to say, underline it. I think we are so used to be the superwoman and try to figure out everything ourselves. There is this almost invisible glass barrier that it's not okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And or even say, why would the Home Bakery is a very successful branch reaching out through Instagram, which is like everybody could have done.
Yes.
And when you ask, you get the help.
Exactly.
I think that's a very important key learning from your journey for all of us. Because I personally as well, when I first came to the UAE and decided to do on my own business, then I realized this is the biggest challenge. I don't have a network.
Exactly.
I don't have a network. I don't know anyone. So what do? Do I just like, you just have to go out and
ask
for help.
And people are generous. People are generous with advice, with contacts, with time, with opinions. Like I always say to my friends who, for example, they tell me, I have this idea. What do you think? What I should do? I tell them, talk about it. Don't keep them close to your heart. Like it's okay. You know, sometimes they tell you, no, don't talk about it. Someone will take your idea. No one can, if someone else will take the idea and do it even before you, then it's not the right thing for you to do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if it's something that you are the right entrepreneur or the right person to do it, it will happen. Just be confident, trust people around you. And I'm not telling you give the recipes left, right, and center, but I mean, reach out to people. People surprise you how much generous they can be.
Yes.
This is my
when you ask in the right
opinion.
way and
yes,
you
of course.
come up with
with the right intention.
With the right intention.
And in a very transparent way, you know, like this is how I do it till today. I need 1, 2, 3. I don't try to friend zone someone and then ask later for help. And, you know, like if I need 1, 2, 3, I will ask for it. And if I'm approached, and this is energy, karma, whatever you want to call it, right? If I'm approached by someone, I always try to help with whatever I can. Contact, opinion, time, tasting, whatever I can do. Because this is what people did with me.
Yeah, that's also kind of paid forward, right?
100%.
And this is good for our listeners.
Yeah. It's a good attitude to have, honestly.
It is. 100%.
Yeah.
So, Carole, what are your key ingredients to your success? I think we got one of them, which is this asking for help, being
Correct.
very honest and transparent, and building that network.
Yeah.
What other key secrets can you share with us?
I think it comes at the same time with, or in the same category of asking for help, being open-minded to the answer. You know?
Oh, that's very, very good.
Like when, for example, because we talked about the story of home bakery, okay, we couldn't work together. And he even convinced me that the brands are different. They don't get along. You can't put them under one brand. And it could have killed my brand, because home bakery is much stronger, is a much it's an older brand in UAE. It's so different. So if I was pushing, or I wasn't open-minded to understand his point of view, I would have killed my business idea. So I was open-minded to be convinced of his point of view. I didn't go to another brand asking them of the same thing. Yamanote or Pachi or whatever, or Godiva or whatever. Why? Because he convinced me. I was open-minded enough to understand that actually this guy is smart. He has a point. He's right. This is not something good for me in the future. I will not do it. Okay, how can I do it differently? You know? So this, and I'm not saying not to be persistent. I'm not saying not to be confident about what you want, but being confident is different than being open-minded. They're two different things. Like being confident about what you want, you know that this is the right thing for you, this is the right thing for your brand, but keep an open mind about how things are evolving, right? Because it's like a baby. We discussed this before. If you have a baby or a friend or a relationship, relationships are also like babies. You grow with them.
Of course, you invest them.
You invest
grow with them.
within them, etc. You have a certain idea of a relationship. If it doesn't work and it turns into a friendship, be open-minded to embrace it and to take it as a friendship and to live it accordingly, right? So this is the same thing in business, in my opinion. It helped me a lot. No, Carole, you cannot do the factory this way. You have to do it this way. Okay, let me explore. Actually, he's right. Let me do it this way. No, you should not be in this location. I would suggest this other location. I would go explore. If I'm convinced, I would do it. So that helps a lot. The second thing I would say, because we're talking about success, is even though I still have a long journey to call myself successful, but at least how to get there, in my opinion, is to surround yourself with the right people. We all talk about energy and all of this positivity, but I'm not talking about people who are always happy. No, I'm talking about family, the core people you need in your life. They keep you grounded, they keep you humble, they keep you focused. Like, even if my network in UAE was 0 and in 1 year it became multiplied by 100, right? Or 1,000. So it can distract you at a younger age. It can distract you. It can be a different lifestyle. It can be you are in a different country, you are in a different culture with different people, you are still young, etc., etc. So it can be a distraction. But when I feel like it wasn't for me, of course, to a certain extent, because I have a strong core. But even if you don't have a strong core within your family, you can create one with a couple of friends who are really close to you, who you can rely on, etc. So I feel like this really worked to my benefit, that I have a strong core at home. You know, it didn't change me. I had to stay the same. If I'm changed 1%, calm down. You're still my daughter. Calm down. You're still my sister, you know? That helped me a lot, and I take it very seriously. So that, I would say, very important for me. And the third thing is time management.
Okay.
It's very practical, but it is the key ingredient, honestly, time management. To have this balance between your personal life and your work, to multitask, to be always present in the factory and the shop and your team and social life. And, you know, you have to be able to manage your time properly. Otherwise.
And become very productive, I believe, right?
Exactly.
Like very productive. So you don't burn yourself, but you also can provide to all those key stakeholders that you're dealing with 100%. To make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So you know what they say, I forgot who, I read it in a book. I forgot which book that was. Maybe Adam Grant. So they say you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Correct.
And it's so interesting when you look at it. It's so true.
It's so true. 100%. Even when we go through phases in our lives, like now I'm feeling down, you tend to surround yourself with people who are also depressive, you know what I mean? But when you are in a happy place, when you are content, you tend to surround yourself with exposed people who have they have an open mind. They are happy. They're happy to explore life, travel, etc. So for me, I try to surround myself always with smart people, for sure, and true people. That's the most important 2 things. Anything else can be manageable.
Yeah. Yes. What happened to you as a business owner during the COVID times? How did you... It was, I think, a very unexpected, very big challenge in very early on.
Correct.
On your journey.
Yeah. It was, our company was only 3 years old, so it was really challenging. And we have a factory, we have shops in malls, and malls had to close. And even when they opened, people didn't go to malls. And so the whole all the sales channels that we had got disrupted, from B2B to B2C to production, everything. I think the attitude is, you're not a victim. It is what it is. Just deal with it, you know? And to act very fast. Like, we were very proactive in the company, honestly. And I have an amazing team who was also with me every step of the way, and they were extremely supportive. They were extremely smart about how to deal with things. So basically, before the lockdown, our offices were very agile as a team. Every startup is, I believe, but also, and like specifically our company, like no one has one specific desk. We all have our folders on cloud. We literally didn't have to go to the office to get our stuff. I just sent them a message. Don't go to the office tomorrow. This is even before the lockdown. Let's just work from home, because people started to get sick and I was scared to my team. So let's just do that. I had a call with my key people in the team. Okay, what is the inventory? Let's close the factory. Let's ask people to travel if they have to travel, because the airport was still open at that point. Let's ask them to travel if they can still do it. Let's put the sales employees on temporary leave, and then also the same to ask them to travel. And if not, okay, we secure the minimum salary, etc., etc. Like, we started immediately with this plan. We knew where things are going, and we decided to plan ahead of time. This is practically how we did it. And then we created a brand for supermarkets during the lockdown.
Okay.
To be honest, it didn't make up the loss, of course, but at least you motivate your team. You make them feel like we're still productive, we're still doing something, there's hope, there are other channels. Don't worry, we're on it, we're focused, we're working. I used to wake up every single morning, do my yoga at home because there was no gym. We couldn't even walk outside at some point. Get dressed, open my laptop. We had a morning call. Good morning, everyone. I hope everything is okay. Let's start our day. What are you working on, etc. And then we have another call at noon just to check on everyone. And then another call at night to check on everyone if they need any help on a personal level, on a professional level. So this is how we did it from our homes. And you also had your parents to think about, your families. You're living alone at home. You can't do anything. You can't see anyone. You had all of this to think about as well. But you decide to just put them on the side, focus on the task at hand, and, day by day.
Again, one step at a time. I think that's kind of your motto.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't overwhelm yourself with you break challenges and take them one step at a time. And every challenge, this helps you. And I think what I'm hearing from you is that keeping a positive mindset, even the times are hard.
Yeah.
And always finding a quick solution.
Correct.
A practical approach and a quick solution
exactly
is the way to go. And I hear also from you that you care so much about your team's personal journey or mental health or their presence as well. So tell us a little bit about you as a leader. So how do you, because you create a brand, and I always say brands are manifested within, meaning
Correct.
through their teams, through their culture.
Yeah.
So when we're creating a brand, we also like to design the culture of the brand and what does it stand for internally, so that the consumer can also feel it.
Yeah.
So what was your journey of building that team, hiring the right people, and giving them the right culture that they can thrive?
Yeah. I think it was one of the most interesting journey within the journeys of Moishi. It's because it's as if you are choosing a partner, but you don't really know these people, but you have to work with them, live with them, build something that it's very dear to your heart, rely on them. And you don't know how to do it. There's no booklet or guidelines to tell you how to recruit. So I relied on recruiting an attitude from day one. So if someone has the right attitude, I feel like even if they don't have, I think almost everyone we recruited didn't have experience in F&B.
Okay.
you know, and I like that. Because I didn't have experience in F&B, of course, other than the technical people, other than the chef, the driver. But I mean, people in the office, because they have the attitude of figuring it out. I don't know, I will ask, I will learn, I will do it, you know? But if someone is very relaxed in what they're doing, they don't work on themselves, they don't evolve, they don't ask, they don't listen, they're not good listeners. So I think I was always after a good attitude from day one. That helped a lot because you can get along with someone, you can be transparent with them, you can be honest, etc. We recruited the sales employees, for example. I would go to a restaurant, I will see a good waiter or a good waitress, I will approach them. Again, I don't have a network, right? But by seeing how they do things, you know, even the accountant, for example, I would approach this person because I've seen this person working with an auditor or with a freelancing company of accountants, etc. And then I will approach them and, you know, so I was always interested in seeing people doing something that I want them to do in my company.
Okay.
To see their attitude, to see how they do it. This is the safest way, of course, to recruit someone, but it's not always
everyone, right?
Yeah.
The core team seems like you're handpicked by experience, and I love it. I think I'll just it can be a tagline: is attitude is bigger than experience.
Of course,
because skills can be learned, but an attitude or the values
100%.
Cannot be.
Values, exactly. It's very important.
Changed.
Correct. Like, for example, in our office, we're very honest with each other. Like, we don't have closed doors. We don't have something that we don't say in front of a colleague because it is strictly confidential information for this department. There's no confidential information. Everyone knows the cost, the salaries. Everyone knows everything. There is nothing hidden from anyone.
One team. And also it's because I don't see the point. Like, why would I not tell them what's the plan in a year? No, I mean, of course, they are part of the plan. They have to tell me what they think about the plan. They have to tell me what they think about this cost. For example, if the profitability is a certain percentage, don't tell the sales employees. Some people used to tell me, don't tell the sales employees that this is your profitability. They will feel like their salaries are not enough. Or no, I want them to know the profitability. So maybe they will tell me, we need to stop this flavor. We need to start a new flavor that I didn't know about. They know about from their home country or from another shop they worked at, etc. So it's important to just be transparent. I mean, with the team, it gives them a lot of confidence, and it makes them feel like home. It makes them feel like exactly. I think this is the biggest difference probably. By that level of openness, you make them feel like they're a part of the 100%. Bigger picture. They're like the owners. They know everything that the owner knows.
Exactly.
Even though they don't make the same money, that doesn't make them feel bad. On the contrary, they might be feeling
as engaged,
empowered, engaged.
Yeah. Exactly.
That level of trust is incredible.
Believe me, we had employees when COVID started, when the lockdown started. I received calls from employees telling me, Carole, please, if you want to cut our salaries, we don't have a problem. We totally understand. Don't worry about us, and we will keep working. I literally cried on the phone, like, how amazing for someone to say that, and their salaries, they need it for rent, let alone their families, the money they need to send back home because the times were tough. For an employee to tell you this and to take responsibility of your losses, you know, that's amazing. And this comes because we live together day by day. I'm with them, for example, if someone with their personal events as well. Someone is getting married, have a child. We know the details. I'm genuinely concerned, you know, about their personal lives. Their big events, of course, the big events, the happy events that you want to be part of. If someone had someone who passed away in the family, we all pray together. We give back to the community somehow in the name of this person. It has to be genuine. It has to be genuine. When you ask someone to spend 10, 8, 9 hours of their time with you every single day to work hard for your company. You have to take their lives into consideration. They can't be objects. They can't be just a job description. It doesn't add up. For me, it doesn't add up. They have to be part of your journey.
That's incredible, because I often ask leaders, how do you build trust with your teams? And I think you kind of described it in a very nice way. The question is, when your team gets bigger,
Yeah.
what is your plan to keep the same level of engagement for everyone?
Through your core team. So, for example, the operations manager, he sees, or he's living with me every single day. He's learning from me. He's getting my approach. He will automatically apply this approach with his team.
Yes.
So even if the team doesn't have a direct relationship with me personally, because practically it cannot happen all the time. I cannot be in 20 shops all the time. I cannot be in the factory every single day, etc. At least they will have this relationship with their direct manager.
You create mini versions of yourself to be able to...
It's a ripple effect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Carole, so I think I have to ask you, I know your perspective on this, but I think it would be very interesting to discuss as well. So as a female entrepreneur, and I'm going to underline the female entrepreneur, what is it like to be a female entrepreneur in the UAE?
It's very easy to be a female entrepreneur in UAE. Honestly, I mean, based on my experience, it wasn't a challenge at all. It was something that I embraced, that I lived by every single day, and that helped me a lot to be a female Arabic speaker, Lebanese, like everything that forms me or that I am, I embraced it to do whatever I did. So, for example, being a female entrepreneur in UAE helps you to open doors that are more rigid for men. For example, to have open conversations about someone's journey, about someone's feelings or someone's family, for example. You know what I mean? Like you are in a meeting, someone is not generous with their information or whatever you need from them, right? It's easier for us as women to break the ice. It's easier for us to get this. We have a better instinct, I believe, than men too.
I would fully agree.
We can't but fully agree.
Yeah, we're a lot better in empathy and communication. So
exactly. I think if we use the advantages that a woman have with multitasking, how sharp women can be, how focused they can be, the instinct you have, if you use them in the business setup, it's brilliant. It can help you a lot. You know, and being a woman usually is a challenge based on the sexism that it used to be in the world overall and in the Middle East, etc. But that is not the case in the UAE, to be honest. People in UAE are professional. They're professional people. They're here to work. They respect each other. The whole institution, the whole system imposes a certain respect. You are part of this, you know? How you introduce yourself, how you take yourself seriously or not, this will impose the respect, in my opinion. I was never disrespected by a man or by a woman. I was never disrespected by a child or by an elder man. It is how you take yourself, how you behave, and this applies for everyone, for a man or for a woman. This applies in general for everyone. But the advantages that you have as women with the attitude we have, with the feminism, the intelligence, with the instinct, it gives us a big advantage in the business world.
I agree.
Honestly.
Just I think it's important to bring this across, that knowing all the things that you went through not having the network, being new in the UAE, not having anyone to back you up with everything that you might need, and being a female, even that there might be some prejudice if there is any.
Yeah.
And you went, you didn't just do a small entrepreneurship. You actually went, did a big success, and we became very successful and went into a very crowded space with a lot of competition.
Correct.
And it's great to know that it's actually you leveraged the benefits of being a female entrepreneur and didn't really have any hiccups around that.
Yeah, honestly, the only hiccups I had from other women. And this is what I need women to hear.
Okay.
The only, maybe a couple of times, it's not a hiccup, but honestly, that's the only memory that I had in this chapter of how are you treated as a woman. The only maybe couple of people who tried to not, to forcefully not help, or like, you know, to not say hurt or big words. That's not about hurt. It's about not being helpful or intentionally not being there for you, are women. And this is my take on women. We need to help each other.
We need to help each other a lot more, yeah.
We need to be there for each other. And not because we're women, because we're human. Like, we don't have to do everything in life based on the fact that she's a woman, I'm a woman. No, just treat us as a human. It's very easy. Honestly, it's just when they start thinking, oh no, she needs to experience what I experienced in my
journey of challenges. Why nobody helped me? Why would I help someone? Yeah,
exactly. No, I mean that makes things more difficult for everyone. Just help each other or be there for each other as humans, and that's easy.
That's gonna solve everything.
I think so.
What would be your biggest recommendation for people who are watching or listening to us in terms of who is aspiring to be like you and starting their own journey?
They can be much better. It took me a while to figure things out.
Okay, number one is humility. That we can.
No, I'm serious. People who know me, they will agree with me. I think recommendation is take themselves seriously when they need to, and not take themselves seriously when they don't have to. In a meeting, in a professional setup, and where they have to make a point, to make a professional point, to they have an objective they have to achieve. Focus, like really focus, take themselves seriously in terms of not wasting time on social media, not wasting time on gossip, not wasting time on those silly things that really consume a lot of time, honestly. Like if you think about it, time that can be wasted on these things. So I feel like when, for example, maybe I will sound judgmental, but I have to be honest with the people who are listening and with myself. When you are approached by a guy or a girl telling you, I have this idea, but you know that they spent 6 hours on Instagram and 3 hours gossiping. And I'm looking at them like, how can you? We don't have time. You really don't have time. This needs time. This needs time for you. You need to allocate time to read Bloomberg, Financial Times, Figaro, Al Nahar, whatever magazine you have access to. You need to be inspired. You need to focus. You need to surround yourself with better people than you, more successful, smarter, to be inspired, to be guided, to be supported. You can't spend your time. You can't spend your whole time. Of course, we all have people like, for example, my friends, your people, you just want to have fun. You don't want to overcomplicate it. But you have to allocate some time to be inspired. You have to allocate some time to be educated. Otherwise, you cannot evolve. So they need to take themselves seriously. This is first. Second, to not overcomplicate it. Just take it step by step.
Yeah.
Step by step.
And I think one of the things that we wanted to talk, connecting with asking for help.
Yeah.
We see the entrepreneurs don't really have enough mentorship or coaching, or they don't ask
Correct.
for it, or they don't get it. Did you had a mentor or a coach through that journey?
For sure. I had minimum 2 that I consider them very close mentors. And I asked for their help and I needed their guidance. I made sure that I keep them in my life as contacts, as friends, as mentors, because I needed their presence in my life, in my professional journey, of course. Why? Because they're more experienced, they're older, they're more exposed, they're more connected, they're smarter, they're more educated, etc., etc. So I knew that these people can give me the guidance and the mentorship that I need. Otherwise, you don't have anyone to guide you. Like when you work, for example, in PwC, we had a system where you are always guided and managed by your coach, by your mentor. He will develop your career with you,
Yes, in
and
corporate,
with your colleagues,
yeah,
of course, and the partner, etc. But he is a huge part of your career development. You don't have this as an entrepreneur, you know. You don't have someone who can tell you, this is not the way that you should do it. You should think about it different way. Or, Carole, this move is this is not the right time for this move, or this is not the right approach, or you're not speaking sometimes the way you talk, sometimes the way you dress, the way, you know, this is all part of who you become, and as an entrepreneur, and what your company become.
Getting perspective from people that you trust.
Exactly.
And I think entrepreneurship doesn't have to be lonely.
No, of course not.
It is actually quite a lonely journey at the beginning, isn't it?
It can be, correct.
But it doesn't have to be. Asking for help, getting mentorship
100%
is
and
one of the
I
keys.
think you should be very specific about your mentor. Like, decide from the beginning, this person can be my mentor, and ask them, can you guide me throughout my journey? Can you be my mentor? Be open about it, and this will put responsibility on them as well. With whatever they say, they know that it will land somewhere within you, and that gives their words and guidance a bigger power. They need to know that they are your mentor, because sometimes you surround yourself with people who inspire you. This is a necessity. But a mentor and a coach, and sometimes we can reach out to coaches, leadership coaches, life coaches, etc. That is definitely needed. And in the beginning, to figure out who can be your mentor throughout your journey and approach them and ask them if they can be this person is extremely important and extremely helpful.
Are you mentoring other entrepreneurs?
A couple of entrepreneurs.
I'm sure they're lucky. They're very lucky.
I'm lucky to have them.
So just before we finish with a quick rapid fire question to get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
Zoom or Teams?
Zoom.
Avocado toast or junk food? I know this.
Avocado toast.
Yes. Mac or PC?
Sorry?
Mac or PC?
Mac, for sure.
Chocolate or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Multinationals or startups?
Startups.
Coffee or energy drink?
Irish drink.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Night owl or early bird?
I would say LinkedIn more. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Also, LinkedIn is even better.
True.
Yeah.
Night owl or early bird?
Night owl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you would say early bird.
I did. I became, but I'm by nature.
Oh, okay. Because you're both.
I'm living against my nature because I need to wake up early to do my workout.
I know that you're a very early bird.
Yeah. Like the first thing that I would say is a night person.
Okay.
But I became an early bird.
Okay, very interesting.
I forced myself.
What is one entrepreneurship secret that you didn't tell us yet?
I don't know if I can call it a secret. I don't know if I can call it a secret, but or an advice. But I think that most of people around me, either an entrepreneur or not, but specifically entrepreneurs who are going through tough times, they victimize themselves. You know, like they become very pessimistic about life, about things, about challenges. They victimize themselves. I think you don't have time. Doesn't help. And we really need to get over this idea of life is not fair. No, life is not, and it will never be. And this is what it is. And you're not a victim, and no one is victimizing you. Just do whatever you have to do. Like, you don't just, it is what it is. Deal with it, you know? Like, this time and energy and quotes and Instagram quotes and videos and all of this business around how we should be more positive and why do we need to be negative? And we are all humans. I go through a lot of emotional ups and downs, and sometimes I'm heartbroken, sometimes I'm sad, sometimes I'm missing my parents, sometimes I need something that I don't get. That's being human. But I don't stay there, victimize myself while I'm going through something. I just, okay, I'm heartbroken in the morning, and then I go to work, and then I work, and then I get done with it. And then, you know, you can't stay in that vulnerable point and
acknowledge the
yourself.
Emotion and then let it go and just keep focus on what you're
people
doing.
Are not against you. Like, the word is not against you. This is what I'm trying to say. The word is not against you. Even when we are heartbroken, we get ourselves heartbroken. Like, people, the universe is not against us. We're part of it. We learn, we move on, we do what we have to do, and that's it. We try to do it gracefully.
That's amazing. I think that's more a life secret.
Yeah.
That's how you get on with your life, and this is what really works for you in terms of being able to not over dramatizing situations regardless of what they are.
Exactly.
Take them as they come, respect them, acknowledge them, and still believe in yourself to go on.
Of course, always.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Carole. I think I really had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having me. Me too. I really did.
And
thank you for having me. And I really hope that we helped, or we were.
I'm sure. I think that was super interesting. I find you as one of the very inspiring
thank you so much.
Female entrepreneurships that I've seen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.